up, everybody? Welcome back. This is the Price to Sell podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Campoli, and I'm joined by other hosts today, actually, of the Canadian Real Estate Homefront podcast. You might have seen them pop up all over your feeds and take over your feeds, and then continue to take over your feeds every single morning.
It's not going to stop either.
And it's not going to stop. But we're going to give you guys a ton of knowledge, because I'm sure you guys have heard them speak and seen their reels, and it's just full of the most interesting facts about real estate. So we have Brooke and Cortez Ranieri.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Nailed it.
Hello.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
I was about to say Ranieri, and then the R ended up being like really Italian at the end. It just went.
I love it.
Just happens.
Mine is such an easily pronounced name, Brooke Hicks.
Brooke Hicks. Yeah.
Thank you for that. I've had some challenging ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, first I want to dive into the both of you individually, and then we'll get into everything.
Cool.
So we'll start with Brooke. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Talk about myself?
Yeah. If you're okay with that.
Oh, I'm totally okay with that. I can talk about myself all day long. No, so I'm a realtor, obviously, in Hamilton, Halton. So doing this drive out to Toronto was quite the trek for me.
I'm sure it was.
Not used to the traffic down here, and I think that's why I like to stay as far west as possible. But yeah, primarily work in those markets, and I'm an investor myself. Obviously, we do the podcast together, and then try to dip my hands in anything else, investment, business wise. Always want to learn, and that's why this podcast has been huge for Cortez and I, because there's just always something to talk about, and I think that is so great for my personality, because it's always evolving, it's always changing, and it's helped me with my career too. Translate that to helping clients better, and even just growing my own presence on social media, my own business. Yeah,
and you're kind of forced into learning, because you're
forced
like
into
consistently learning like what's going on, right?
Cortez does a lot of like research beforehand with articles that come out, and usually I just sit down. What are we talking about today? Because I had full trust in myself, being able to just wing everything and just be able to talk about the market in any given second. But now there's a deeper level to it that I can't really do that as much anymore, now that we get into more specific topics where I actually have to read the articles that he shares with me and really follow what's going on even in the States compared to here, and follow what the Bank of Canada is doing, when it's not so generic, like, every realtor can talk about their market.
Yes.
But I want to know more and get deeper into it, and even the psychology behind certain things. And then that's why it's been exciting to hear our own listeners speak to us and challenge us on certain things, because it's been cool to navigate.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
Cortez?
Yeah, I'm also a real estate agent. I always joked I'm the worst sales guy in the world because I'm way too honest. But it's actually been good for my business. So yeah, I've been in the business for 8 years. I own a property as well, and I do like private lending on the side too.
Nice, smart.
I'm into that. Yeah. I like the kind of passive income
For
and
sure.
stuff like that. So and yeah, I'm super into economics. Like, I find it super interesting. I'm always researching stuff and talking to Brooke about stuff, and that's kind of why we started the podcast, just to, like, I guess, to educate people. That was the big thing. I know it sounds kind of cliche, but I feel like the industry needs a good cleanse, and there needs to be better realtors out there who are more equipped and more knowledgeable. And I think that doing podcasts like this will allow people who are, in the top 1% to stand out more, and really provide people with the best knowledge possible, because it's just such an industry where people can make really bad decisions with really bad advice. So it's actually not always a good time to buy, no matter what a realtor says you. So,
and I think the reason why we teamed up is because Cortez's opinions on a lot of things are polar opposite to mine.
Interesting.
And that's, I don't want to say it's complete polar opposite, because we have the same goal in mind.
For sure.
But sometimes the way we do things to accomplish the same result, or the way we think, is very different. So that's why we have that, playful banter sometimes, or
it
the
bets
well.
Yeah.
Sometimes that, it's not both of us sharing the same opinion and the same facts, but we can actually, share why we're thinking differently with some things.
Yeah, I think that's why we've actually grown so fast on Instagram, is really because we're just authentic.
Yes.
And we're not willing to, we're not scared to say something, as most people and most realtors are. The market only goes up. Like, that's kind of like the only thing you talk about. It's so boring. And then, you kind of say something different than the crowd, and then you actually start getting attention for good and bad. Like, you need thick skin in this game.
On 1,000%.
Yeah. The comments are horrible.
The comments are so mean.
But you know what? But controversy is what.
There's no bad publicity.
Yeah.
There's no
They're
bad
talking
publicity.
For sure.
And like, I want more.
Yeah.
Like, give it to me.
Yeah.
I've learned that, because when I started this pod,
Yeah.
I was like the host.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say anything,
So
Right.
vanilla,
stir
vanilla,
someone
right?
wrong,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now I just come to that point where it's like, I don't care anymore. You just
Yeah.
got like anyone who's becoming relevant.
Yeah.
It's like the more relevant you become, the more hate you're going to get.
Exactly.
Just natural.
Yeah.
For sure.
But you guys have popped off.
Thanks.
We
Yeah.
appreciate it. Yeah, we didn't expect this.
I
Three
can
months.
expect every
Yeah.
like when I'm on I wake up every morning around 7:30. I can expect a nice reel from you guys.
love
That's
it.
me
with
at
the
the
same
gym.
trendy
Yeah.
song.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
I
yeah.
love, by the way. It's one of
The
my
trend.
favorites.
Oh yeah, it's the same music
It's the
behind
same
each
music.
Yeah. I actually got a
That's
comment,
so
so I've been
funny.
looking for different songs now.
No, keep that one, man.
You like that one?
Yeah, I really like that
It's-
one.
That's our
it's-
brand.
It's almost
It is the
rebranded
brand.
with
It is the
because-
brand, yeah.
So we get the reels edited for us, right?
Okay.
But
Yeah.
they don't attach it with music
Yeah.
because Instagram has an algorithm where
Yes.
if you put in your own audio, you're likely to go more viral.
Yeah.
So Cortez has been posting them, and it's so funny because when I listen, I'm like, oh, it's the same one.
Yeah.
Sometimes you switch it up. but
I
not
try.
often.
But
Yeah,
that
I
one's
try
it's
to.
like an eerie like, oh my god, what's
It
gonna
sucks
happen?
you in, yeah, it
It's
sucks
like
you in,
yeah,
it's like what's happening?
Yeah,
music?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like I need to
It
listen.
makes
Like
it
something is
more
going down right now.
Yeah, I'm sick of this guy, but this music is just
This
engaging.
music,
me.
like, I want to watch it all. What's
Yeah,
gonna happen?
exactly.
That's so
Yeah.
funny.
So
That's
so it's awesome. Like, a big props to you guys.
Thanks.
Thank
Yeah.
Because it's been it's attractive, like super entertaining,
Yeah.
and obviously the advice you guys are giving and the stuff, the facts you're dropping
Yeah,
is relevant,
we appreciate it very much.
and so it's good educational piece, which is
Thanks.
needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about the cleanse after for sure.
Awesome.
Big on that cleanse.
I love the cleanse. Yeah.
I love the cleanse.
The
Can't wait for the
purge.
cleanse.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
cleanse of realtors, that what we're
Yes,
talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah,
that whole
Oh,
cleanse.
with all the people leaving the business this year.
Yeah.
There'll be
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
There will
Well,
be
we
more.
were talking about last week on our podcast how many realtors got their license at the beginning of COVID, and
yep.
just had clients, and
Mhm.
then they were making helping make decisions for
Mhm.
people's like their entire wealth and their
Yeah.
entire portfolio, and didn't really know anything. And and as realtors, we have insured risk is also
Mhm.
what we were saying. So there's not really another job that you could just jump into. Managing
Millions of dollars.
millions
Yeah.
of dollars with insured risk and
Yeah.
not much schooling behind it. So
Yeah.
I think, but then, you hear every realtor excited about the cleanse, like everyone,
Yeah.
even
Mhm.
even the new ones excited
Yeah.
about the cleanse.
Yeah, they're,
Yeah.
they're bluffing, right?
They're
They are bluffing. They're secretly really nervous.
they're
guys.
secretly nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're really like, the cleanse.
The cleanse.
They're sweating their ass off. But I want to get
So
into
funny.
a little bit about the market quickly.
Cool.
Or maybe not so quickly, maybe a good chunk of the market.
Cool.
Are we in a bubble?
Are we in a bubble?
Oh,
Mhm.
Ooh, this is so.
I
Is
think.
this a Cortez
Oh
question?
no,
Yeah.
I love to hear Cortez because
My
he's very
opinion.
bearish.
Okay.
No, I'm not very bearish.
Yes,
no,
you
that's not
are.
fair. That's not fair.
You're bearish. Yes, he is.
No, no,
Yeah,
no.
Oh yeah, he is.
Rar.
I think that the market doesn't have to be binary. It doesn't have to go up or down. It can actually just trade sideways. And the only reason why people talk about it going up and going down is because it makes good headlines. So like people always just talk about, you'll see it on the news all the time. We're going to drop 20%. This economist thinks we're going to go up 20%. And I do think that if we didn't have these extended amortizations, we would be in a lot more trouble and we would be in a lot more pain. And there's a reason why the overnight rate in Canada versus the States is different, is because the States won't get hit as hard as Canada will get because they have 30-year fixed rates. Like that's just the difference between that. And if people don't know, the most popular mortgage product in Canada is 5 years,
Mhm.
and then you have to renew.
Mhm.
So why I'm a little bit bearish is because I think that OSFI is going to try and shut this down, this extend and pretend. Like we're seeing people with 90-year amortizations. So that's literally 90 years to pay your mortgage back. You'll be dead before you ever pay it back.
Yeah.
And then we have renewals coming up in the over 300 billions in 2024
I
and
saw that.
2025.
I watched
Yeah.
that reel at least 6 times over.
Yeah, yeah. Like just take that into account. Like a country of, we just hit 40 million in the population, and we have over 300. I think it was 350 billion in 2025 of mortgage renewals, and you just got to think of that sticker shock too.
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
at the bottom of the rate cycle, I think I'm kind of overshooting here, but you could probably get a rate at 2%. And right now the bond yield's at 4%. Give a 2% premium. You're going to renew at 6% right now, and then stress test it at 8%. You're
Mhm.
in for a higher payment.
Yes.
So I actually think in one of our reels, I even said you should reach out to your mortgage broker today and understand what's coming and prepare for it, because not a lot of households can actually afford an extra $500 a month or
Yeah.
$800 a month. And when you tack on inflation, you tack on food prices,
It's true.
everything is going up. So I'm a little bit more bearish in the sense that like you don't see a recession coming until it comes.
Mhm.
There's actually a scene in The Big Short, and there's these mortgage brokers at the bar, and they're like, they
Yes.
just bought a yacht.
Yes,
and
yes, yes. I
someone
saw
on
that.
Twitter posted, "We are here right now." And it's the
Yeah.
mortgage brokers at the
Uh-huh.
bar, like enjoying it.
Uh-huh.
And then by the end of the movies, that mortgage broker's like at a job fair, like looking for a job.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's coming, but
Yeah.
it's always good to kind of think like that and not just
Yeah.
think everything goes up. So
Zero.
that's my opinion. I think that we have a
Yeah.
lot of debt in Canada, and our GDP per capita sucks. Foch
Mhm.
talked about this on our podcast last week. We're not a productive country, and we rely way too heavily on real estate, and we need to diversify into our precious metals and start creating more jobs and more wealth in this country. My opinion.
Wow,
gonna-
that was like impressive.
You
gonna-
like that?
Can I
No,
have,
you should
can I
get
have you
a-
on speed dial? by chance?
You should. That
You
should
can,
have been
yeah.
on like the presidential.
Yeah, can I have you on speed
Yeah.
dial?
Nice.
Should we send that to Justin
That was
Trudeau?
really
You
good.
can send that to Trudeau. But it's facts. I just renewed. Well, my renewal's next month, but I just locked in on a new rate, and
Yeah.
it's from one of my investment properties, and it's gonna be $1,000 more
Yeah.
monthly
Yeah.
on the mortgage. Luckily, it's a cash flowing property already. It's an Airbnb, so it's crushing.
Yeah.
But
If it wasn't.
if I was living there and I didn't have the
Right.
capacity to go out there and make real estate commissions or
Yeah.
earn more money, and I was locked into a fixed salary,
Yeah.
I can only imagine what that may do to me, right? Especially if I was already like close to in over my head.
Right.
Yeah,
You
it's
know what
the
I mean?
people
Yeah.
that are like that bought in COVID or bought at the peak prices,
Mhm.
because the people that are coming up to their 5-year renewals, if they've been paying off their mortgage for 5 years, yes, it went up and came back down. They still have that equity, definitely. So if they do need to sell and
It's-
downsize,
yep.
there's equity in a lot
Mhm.
of people's
Mhm.
homes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people that are going to be hurt the most are the people that got bullish and bought that investment property for cheap and immediately started cash flowing $200 a month. Now they're negative $1,000
Yeah.
a month.
Yeah.
So I think it's those people that are going to be forced to sell.
Mm-hmm.
I have listings with tenants in them, with my investors calling me and saying, like I need to sell based on my new house being on a variable, so I could afford the little bit of negative on a rental, because I always prepare everybody for a long-term game. Like
Mhm.
don't live off your cash flow ever,
Mm-hmm.
unless you're high numbered cash flow
Mhm.
and you've transitioned to that type of business. But if you're banking on that $300 in cash flow, like that's not where you should focus on. But it's their new property too that's variable, that's gone up so much, now this has gone down so much, so the difference, and then getting rid of that one and then maybe taking a loss. So I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of the investors leaving
Yeah.
leaving the market, or these pretend investors. Everybody and their mother wanted a second property and to be a real estate investor.
Mhm.
And it was very easy to refinance your house in the peak, pull out $200K and go buy
Yeah.
another one. And then numbers made sense then.
Yeah.
And I think it's those people that are going to be hurt the most, because the people coming up on their renewals, yes, they're going to be higher payments, 100%. And there's definitely the people that may be overstretched even back then and can't afford what's coming. But I think a lot of Canadians have a lot of equity in their homes, especially from if they bought 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And we always talk about how Canadians are very resilient in terms of they're going to pay their mortgage and do everything they can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's these second properties or these condos that there's no way to cash flow in a condo. Just like you said, my mortgages, they both came up to renewal. So I'm plus $3,000 per month
Wow.
on 2. And then my occupancy fee on a condo I just took possession on is quadruple the occupancy fee that was expected when I bought it.
They're high now.
So they're supposed to be about
Yeah.
$800. It's $3,500 for a 1-bedroom occupancy fee. So that's not paying down my mortgage.
That's crazy.
So 3,000, like it's just wild numbers. And like you said, I do the Airbnb. So luckily one of my Airbnbs cash flows so much that
Mhm.
it kind of neutralizes the other ones.
Yeah.
But it just thinking how much more per month it is. But then I look at it, I'm in a position where I bought these bunch of properties. Yes, I have these safety nets of Airbnb and the ability to make my own kind of income. But the people that maybe bought that extra property, the same vision as I did, but on a salary too
Mhm.
quickly, took on too much too quickly. I think that's where we're seeing a lot of pain,
Yes.
the most pain.
for sure.
Or the first time buyers, like my little sisters, for example, like their
Mhm.
mortgage payment's up $1,000 and
Yeah.
they'll make it work, but it
It hurts.
It's
hurts.
tough. It's
yeah.
tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's gonna be like that delayed
Yeah.
kind of reaction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything has to like settle. But how? First off, let's go on rates. We're coming off the most recent rate hike, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you think there's more?
I think it depends on the data for sure. I think it's no one thought they were going to raise again in June and July. I said on our podcast they would, and it's just based off consumer spending and consumer sentiment. Like consumer spending is still through the roof. We were talking about this even before I got here. You go on any patio in Toronto, it's packed. People are traveling to Europe. People are still spending money, and that's not what the government wants to see. They want to see that contraction in the economy. And if the government has to choose, or the Bank of Canada has to choose between a recession or inflation, it's going to be a recession all day long, because the devaluation of the currency is not what you want to see. You don't want to see the prices of goods go up so exponentially that people can't afford stuff, and people already can't afford stuff. So the only way to get inflation and to kill it is to increase rates. If you had to ask me right now, are they going to stop here? I think so, because I don't think they want to break the real estate market, because our economy is too dependent and our GDP is too dependent on real estate. I think a lot of politicians own real estate. They don't want to see it crash either. So I think there's a hidden incentive behind that. But I think that rates are probably done here, dependent on the data.
Yes.
I think they'll just stay where they are for a longer time. Like you said, it takes a little while for things to infiltrate into the market. Like even back to the beginning of the interest rate hikes, like we're seeing things start to kind of come in to play now. So it's not an immediate thing. But I also think that raising the interest rates again, there is so much of the population. We did the percentages one time when the people that own their homes outright, or
1/3
or
of
just
people
rent, right? So yes, renters will be affected, but the people that own their homes outright, they're not necessarily that affected. And it's a lot of the population of Canada. So, for example, I made the correlation, like my dad, for example, like people like them, the baby boomers, massive part of our population, they're not really necessarily feeling it. It's the younger generations, and they're affecting everybody differently. So it's so much pain over here and just maybe a little bit over here when you're pumping your gas. So it's not balanced, and it's not very much not a blanket.
No, it can't be a
effect.
blanket state. Inflation should be measured different for different people.
We say
right?
that.
Yeah, it's true. Like there's a lot of people in Canada own their home outright, and it's worth a couple $1 million. And inflation's not going to hit them. They don't see a housing crisis like we do, because they've they made the right bet. They bought a house early and got lucky in a sense. So
got rich by accident.
I love that you guys are giving proper education, because like people just watch the news. Like you go to any dinner table, family dinner discussion. It's always like the real estate market's like, oh my god, like what's going on?
Everybody has
the fear mongering.
That's what I said. Everyone thinks it has to be binary. It doesn't. Like it can be boring for 5 years. Who cares?
It's true.
And that's where some people will make money, some people will lose money. And I posted the other day like 6 people that had bought in 2021 and then had to sell this year. I don't know the case. They weren't my clients. I just saw the data. And everyone's like, oh my God, like this is going to start happening. It's like, this is, if you look at, I don't want to call it a normal market, but if you just look at it, whatever we would call a normal market, you'll see the people that, make a ton of money, or people lose money, and then people trade sideways. Exactly. So it doesn't always have to be this like crazy peak. And then like, it doesn't need to be like the tops and bottoms like stocks. It can be just like a, you
can just trade sideways.
Yeah, that's good perspective. So now again, it's like the whole supply demand issue, right? That's like, do you think that's always going to be a thing? Do you think we'll ever catch up?
I think
in terms of supply.
I think no.
Costs.
I think no, because the first thing you hit is costs, but the second thing is the irresponsibility of immigration. And I don't mean that in a way that's rude to anybody, because I think that we are all on the same team in a sense, because the more immigrants come in, the more inflation gets hit. But the reason why I say that is because it's way harder to build a house than it is to let a person into a country. So you have last year we had 1 million new permanent residents. Like we're not building 1 million homes. You think of how long it's going to take to build one home versus let one person in. It's a very long trajectory. So I think supply is probably going to be an issue for a long time. But I think after talking with Foch, I am on the kind of this train of cheap credit fuels real estate markets. And what I mean by that is Brooke said it earlier. People are taking money out of their primary residence and they're buying another home. So I do think that supply will be an issue, and we'll be having the same conversation in the next 5 years unless someone engineers a better way to build homes. Like I joked about it, but if robots were building houses 24/7, we'd actually have a good chance at it.
It'd be a great business idea.
Yeah. I'm not going to engineer it, but
it was exactly my response. I saw these long-term health care facilities, and it creeped me the hell out. But there's robots now because they can be there 24 hours a day. They can provide care to the older people that I guess don't necessarily know what's going on. And they're putting them in these long-term care facilities to like keep the old people entertained or whatever the case may be. And they look like a real human and they're like doing their thing. And I'm like, that is so eerie. And like that makes, oh my God, you got to look at it. You have to look at it. They look real.
Where's this?
I saw it on CBC or something. Literally go in robots in long-term care facilities, and then the robot looks like a real person. So if you're old with like dementia, I'm sorry to say it, but maybe you don't know that it's a robot.
Yeah.
Right. And then for like food delivery and all of that, they have AI, and so if we can't build houses quick enough, like is that a solution? I don't like to even say it.
Well,
I don't even
it
like
could,
to.
But well, technology is supposed to be deflationary. It's supposed to make things like cars were available because the assembly line was created. Now we all drive cars, and you know, same with the iPhone. So like you could also say that it was creepy that now cars drive themselves with Teslas, right? But now it just becomes the norm. So, you know, eventually it's creepy at the beginning, and then it becomes the norm eventually.
It's so true.
We're going to be like iRobot in 20 years. Everyone has a robot. Everyone has a home robot.
Maybe sooner. Just look at AI. It's absolutely insane.
Look at our phones. Like, look how crazy it was when you were a kid versus what that can do now. Like, you make money off that thing. You can trade off that thing. You can FaceTime someone on the other side of the world. Like, it's mind blowing, but now it just becomes normal. So these things will all become normal eventually.
I'm not playing Snake anymore on my phone.
Yeah. Brick Breaker.
Yeah, Brick Breaker. Yeah, it's actually wild where there's always gonna be something new.
Yeah.
You know? Like there's just so much going on in the world. Yeah. Like I like exactly how you put it. It's like it seems crazy until it's here, and then it's not crazy anymore. The next crazy thing is then comes.
People need something to talk about.
But it's scary.
It's scary.
Yeah.
It is scary.
It's disruptive, but
it is. So do you think, I mean, with this whole supply issue, which is it's clearly an issue here and always will be for a while, does this drive prices up?
Well, yeah, like the simple back to supply and demand. It's like a simple, you learn it in grade 3. Yes. I think there's a lot more going on, though, that we need to address. Supply, yes, that's going to be a huge issue. I don't think that's going to be solved anytime soon unless these solutions are actually maybe
the robots
actually considered. But there's so much more going on that I think the government has their hand in. Like all of the government buildings that they said that they can turn over and make inventory, the Toronto areas, Ottawa areas that have been government buildings for so long that have mass amounts of units in them. Taxing the developers. Like if you don't tax the developers as much, maybe they can offer units for a cheaper cost. But yeah, back to basic economics. Low supply creates more demand, which will bring prices up, yes. I don't think it's just such an easy calculation when it comes to Canadian housing market, just to say it's just supply, but it definitely is quite a factor. Even in my market, like there's a bunch of listings, yes, but it's not like, you know, you want something specific. Like it's few and far between, and the good ones go in multiple offers still.
Yeah.
Multiple offers are not over, and those are the good listings. So the good listings go in bidding war dates, and then there's a bunch of inventory that's just not the best. And we're still at a 40-year low, isn't that for new listings?
Yeah, I think it's a 20-year low for new listings, and you need to think of how many houses have been built
since then
in the 20 years that we've been here. So I'm more of the camp that I think prices might slowly go up, but it's going to trade sideways. And the reason is that I don't think credit will become cheap anymore.
Yeah,
I don't think people's incomes are going to increase enough to be able to afford these houses. And I think that the population and the birth rate in Canada is decreasing, and all we're doing is kind of masking that with immigration. Because I think a lot of people our age aren't having children for good reason. It's hard to have a child in a 500 square foot condo in Liberty Village.
And everything is crazy expensive.
Yeah,
try to have
facts.
a baby.
I mean, just think of your lifestyle.
Try to have a baby and get everything.
Get
everything that baby needs. It's insane.
Yeah, it's insane. So I do think we're going to trade sideways. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
And then we'll see the typical ebbs and flows of trading sideways. So there might be that 5% decrease, and then that, you know, increase, and it becomes seasonal too. We were talking about
cyclical
that.
nature.
Summer and winter are historically way slower, and so maybe you do see that little decrease because historically demand in those seasons aren't as high. People go away. People are doing other things.
People are in
market per market too.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like I'm selling a lot of like the exterior markets where, you know, maybe there's not a lot of amenities nearby, and those I've literally witnessed prices just you know. And then markets like you're saying, like there's certain products that will go in multiple still. Toronto's still fantastic, you know, depending on on where, but it's really like address to address.
Yeah, what you
Right.
said
At
is
this
so
point.
true. Yeah, it's micro markets. The COVID
Yeah.
darlings are going to get hit the most, and they still will.
Yeah,
You know, the St.
COVID
Thomas,
darlings, I
yeah,
like
the
that.
COVID darlings, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
You know, everyone thought they wanted all this land, and they get out there and they go, "Oh my God, I missed the city," and they just
Yeah.
come crawling right
And now they
back. So
come
Yeah.
back.
yeah, the COVID darlings will get hit, you know, the most, and yeah, I think that's what we'll see. But I think the good areas where people want to be, and you know, people love to be around people, and people love
Mhm.
to be, you know, are you at the
Mhm.
cool bar? Are you here? Are you
The
there?
patio.
Yeah, the patio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
patio's full. So yeah, I think that strong markets will stay the same. But I think what you said is you nailed on the head. Micro markets will get hit the most. And
Yeah.
it's dependent on the area.
And in terms of opportunity, I mean, like, there's so much noise right now.
Yeah.
Like, people are just confused. Okay.
But that is a good word to describe everything right now.
Noise.
Confusion and
confusion.
noise.
It's noise and
Yeah.
confusion.
Yeah.
It's just an
I like
absolute
it.
chaos.
Yeah, chaos. Yeah.
Yeah. So for someone that's looking for opportunity, let's like even outside of like borderless opportunity, is there any, are you bullish on anything right now? Could be
Oof.
international.
International.
Could be
Okay.
Yeah.
provincial.
So, for example, if somebody's calling me, I'm not pushing like I was like, hey, oh my God, look at this opportunity. Like I used to like push that a lot because if I posted that, I believed in it. And a lot of those investments that I sold still work to this day and are successful. I've bought a lot of them. So I had a call the other day. I want to look at your listing. This one's 2.5 in Hamilton and he wants to rent it out and he would need 10 grand a month to rent it out. And I'm saying, are you looking for cash flow? Yes, I'm looking for cash flow. I said, okay, well, we're not going to look at that specific listing of mine. I'm going to take you to something else, like a triplex or a duplex in Hamilton that you can pick up well below what it was trading for last year. Yes, the interest rates are very high, but the rents are also very high. So my idea right now, if you're willing to spend and you have money to spend, whether you've sold something else or you're actually just looking to get in the market, there's never not a time for there to be an opportunity. You need to create it essentially. And if you have money in the bank, I think the bank will be using your money to lend it out elsewhere. So you're either going to give the bank an interest-free loan, keeping it in a savings account, or yes, the interest rates are high, but the prices for a duplex, for example, in Hamilton, you can get for 800. Last year was 1.2.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saving that. And if you can even break even right now, I'd rather see your money there than in a savings account.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my opinion. Right now, I'm weary of most pre-construction projects. Unless
tough
they're
right now.
Yeah.
they're offering a way better price. There was one in Oakville. It's called the Gemini, and I was like, that's wild priced from what I used to see. So
Mm-hmm.
some of them I can jump on. I don't hate the idea of breaking even if you're getting a good purchase price, and just because your rate's high, because that'll change,
Exactly.
and your tenants are paying down your mortgage.
Exactly.
Do not leave money in a savings account. Do
Mhm.
something with it. Otherwise, the bank's using your money
Somewhere
interest
else.
free,
Yeah.
For sure.
right?
Yeah, I'm always of the opinion is like, are you buying a house or are you buying a home? So like in my opinion, a
Mm.
house is something that you're looking
Romantic.
as an investment, but a home is like, okay, you know, I set roots here. I want to raise my family in this place. I'm going to be here for 5-10 years. And then I think if the numbers make sense to you, you feel like your job security is safe, then yeah, you should go buy that. You should go buy that home. But if you're buying an investment property right now, like I don't know a ton of great places, but you know, I think it's best to cash flow first. I think Sudbury has been on a lot of people's radar, and
Mhm.
even out in like, you know, Windsor area and stuff like that,
Mhm.
because you can actually kind of cash flow. I think the States too, like my uncle invests in Niagara Falls,
Oh.
USA.
States.
On the
On
state
the other
side.
side, yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Did
he
you
goes,
see that?
he goes,
that
why would
reel?
I? Yeah, he goes, why would I?
Yeah.
You know, on Niagara, Canada, it's $500K for a house, and he's buying them for $80K, and they're cash flowing right away.
Exactly. And they're
Interesting.
7
Yeah.
kilometers apart. That's the most interesting thing.
Yeah.
Is that there's 2 houses in Niagara Falls, USA, Niagara Falls, Canada,
Yeah.
7 kilometers apart, and one was 700K, and one was
It's
150.
80 to 100K, and he can get a duplex at that price.
Wow.
And he rents them out. He
Yeah.
said he put on Facebook Marketplace. He said he got 25 inquiries, and he's a cop in Hamilton,
That's
and,
wild.
and he laughs at all the other cops because
That's
they
so
go,
funny.
oh, I just bought this investment property. He's like, oh, how much does it cash flow? And he goes, it doesn't. I'm down $500 a month. And he's like, that's not an investment then. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
his thesis,
Yeah,
which
of
Okay,
course.
I
have a
agree with.
question.
Yeah.
I have a question though. Okay, so let's put it this way. I am more on if I'm getting a good purchase price, I don't care about the $200 a month, because if I add up the last 2 years, I've had one of my duplexes in Hamilton. If I bought it for the sole reason that I'm banking $200 a month,
Mhm.
what does that make me in 2 years? Okay. But I also bought in an area that I believed in. And then the next year, yes, it was COVID, but it's still way up from when I bought it in 2021. and then the equity in there is way more than what my cash flow is. How much equity is he going to have buying an $80,000 house and having that $200 cash flow? Or is there the $300K equity?
I get what you're saying.
That you can maybe play with, maybe you don't. Maybe that gets people into trouble. But that house has made me $300K in 2 years, and that house has made him $2,400 in 2 years.
He's cash flowing $1,000 a month, and he's buying one for 80, and you're buying one for 800. He can buy 10 of those and make 10 grand a month. That's the difference.
Can he buy 10 of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the difference. Like that's
so
what that's where I see
bit
opportunity. Right?
Like I'm like future value. Like if
she's very like if the market goes up, then I will get.
But not if it's not short term. That thing I'm never selling. Like that's a 10-year plan.
Hold.
I knew there's no way that's like my mortgage is being paid down. I'm breaking even. Yes, when the rate goes down, I'm cash flowing. So my cash flow goes up and my mortgage goes down, and then that creates, and then here we are, and that's.
But you do have that speculation that duplex is going to go back to 1.2 million. And what if it doesn't go there for 10 years?
Because I'm holding it for 10 years. 20.
I know, but what if it doesn't? And then, in Buffalo, he made $10,000 a month for 10 years, right? That's the only thing that I'm like, I love the cash flow aspect. That's why I invest in privates. Because I'm like, pays for my car, it pays for this, it pays for that. It's just
if
easy
we're talking
for me.
$10,000 a month, okay, I'm on your side.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the people that are so eerie on the cash flow that $300 is better to them on a $150,000 Sudbury random house than something like what I've invested in, because, and I'm biased, maybe all of my houses have been very successful. I've never overextended myself. But I don't like the $300 cash flow in these random Windsor, Sudbury markets that are so outskirt. Nobody's close to their investment either. They just think they can get a cheap house.
Yeah.
But it has to be a long-term game. Like, I got lucky because of the COVID increase, but it was always a 20-year plan.
Right. Yeah, I can resonate like right in the middle, I think.
See how we have very different.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why it works.
Yeah. Because after having a cash cow, it's hard for me to like wrap my head around like a small little cash flow if there's like not a lot of appreciation.
Yeah.
I think obviously diversifying and have many like different types of these properties in volume at the end of the day. Like even if you just get that one that like, and you're not even expecting it, but like it just pumps and you're up that $300K in equity. It's just a bonus.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting.
Yeah, it's
interesting game.
That's why we have a good dynamic.
I started off with Airbnb.
Yeah.
Airbnb is the best.
Yeah. So like I'm like pro STR. I do it here. I do it in Florida. And then I have a pre-con closing end of the year that did extremely well with equity wise.
Yeah.
That'll be my first long term.
Okay.
So see how that goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm like right in the middle.
Cool.
But I do see both sides.
Yeah.
I just wonder how that Buffalo one would appreciate. Like, how is that market?
Yeah,
like
if it's gone up, and he says too. He's like, it hasn't gone up as much as Hamilton, but he's just like, yeah, I sleep good. I sleep good. The money comes in my bank, and
$1,000 is nice.
Yeah, but if you bought a duplex in 2022 at the height of the market, now you're negative. You're negative cash flow, and you're negative on your investment.
This is a blanket statement. I bought a duplex in 2022 at the height of the market that cash flows $3,000 a month.
Yours cash flows $3,000.
$3,000 in July.
Still?
This month.
Wow.
This month. So
this month, $3,000.
What about in December? What about in December?
What
about in December?
But it's cash flowing $3,000
True.
Okay, so I'm negative cash flow now. I'll just go.
Okay, so it cash flows $1,000 a month if I
facetious.
short-term rental it, and $3,000 a month when I've now changed it to an Airbnb.
Yeah.
Which then helps with the negative of occupancy from the condo that I bought years ago and stuff like that. But yeah.
Spicy pod,
Spicy.
It's pretty good. I like this stuff.
Yeah.
I can see it. I can see why you guys are like perfect like co-hosts for each other though.
Yeah. Very different. Yeah.
And some people agree with me, and some people agree with Cortez. That's why sometimes on the end of our show we're like, vote the best realtor. Vote for the best realtor.
Vote for the best realtor. Yeah.
Maybe it's time for a little. Because I know you're both at different brokerages. So.
Yeah. We should go into a listing appointment.
Yeah, you should.
You versus me. I'm just kidding.
Can someone who set this up? Anyone selling?
Yeah. Future
I'll
show.
I'll take the listing at the end. Yeah.
We'll give it some that.
Would you have worked for it?
Just want to see them battle it out.
That's awesome.
He asked me to box today.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No.
Boxing was becoming. I have a black eye currently.
Do you? Oh, I didn't even notice.
It's becoming a theme. I just
awesome.
boxed my guest from yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not kidding.
We're trying to top that show. It's not going well.
We'll do the white collar boxing.
Yeah, that's so funny.
But I mean, this has been an amazing podcast.
Yeah.
I want to thank you both for coming. I know
Yeah.
it flies by.
Yeah,
when you're
that's
having,
fine.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
when
yeah.
you're having fun, right?
I feel like it's been 2 minutes.
It's been
Yeah.
like 3 times 10.
Times
3
10.
times 10.
Times 10. But I mean, I want to plug in your podcast one more time, where people can find you guys,
Sure, yeah, for sure.
and individually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. We are the Canadian Real Estate Homefront podcast. We are on Spotify and Apple Music long form, YouTube as well. But our Instagram and TikTok is kind of what does the best. But our Instagram is definitely our like baby right now. So it's at Canadian Real Estate Homefront. You can follow us there. I'm sure you'll tag us and stuff like that
And listen
too.
for the eerie music.
Listen for the eerie music.
That's so funny
yeah,
that you
yeah.
recognize that we use
That's
the same
awesome.
music
Hell yeah.
every time.
Stay on it.
Yeah, and honestly,
time.
like if you'll have us back, like we'd love to come back.
Yeah.
This has been good.
I
So good.
definitely.
Yeah, and if you want to come on
Yeah.
our show, we'd love to have you. Yeah,
100%.
we'll do it. Okay, cool.
100%.
I love it.
Very good.
Awesome.
Okay, guys. Well, to all the fans out there, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share with all your friends and family and your pets.
And your
And leave us a 5-star review, because if you don't, I'll find you on Joe Warehouse.
Thanks,
But until next time, we'll see you guys.
guys.
Peace.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.